just gonna quickly go through this. Remember, I said your test 3 is going to be based on 3 and 4. So this is part of 3 and 4. So we need to know how to record. Remember, guys, the most important thing, I realized that when I was going through this question, some people forgot how to calculate VAT. Some people forgot how to calculate the markups. So you must know how to calculate the VAT. Please, you must go back to the things that we've done before. Just check how do we calculate VAT. Remember, sometimes VAT is calculated on the amounts which already has got VAT in them. So you must know what to do. And again, you must know when to use the markup. Okay, listen up. So sometimes they give you the cost of sales. It means if they give you the cost of sales, you must find sales. Can you see now? So if they give you the sales, you must find cost of sales. So this column for sales will always be used to calculate the column for cost of sales. But if they gave you the cost of sales, you have to make sure that you find the sales. You need to make sure that you do that. So, like I said before you can write exam, so you're not compelled by law, but I'm just advising you, before you write exam, just make your own notes. Just go and say, okay, I know that under these 2 columns, namely under the bank, trying to write. Let me see what's happening here. I'm trying to find the text. Yes. So under this column, we always include VAT. Okay. So you include VAT. Include VAT. So meaning, make sure that you know that under the analysis and bank, you always have to include VAT. Please, someone is writing. Please stop writing on this thing, please. Someone is writing. Please, 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 please. Okay. And then so make sure that you know how to do that. Like I said, because I was trying to write here, someone is helping me to write here. So it means here you need to include VAT. And then here I must include VAT. These are the notes which you can make from your side. Can you see now? And then you know that other columns you don't have to include VAT. Obviously here you have to calculate VAT. So meaning all the other columns you don't have to include VAT. So that is something that you can use for your advantage. So you only include amount of VAT in this. So if they give an amount including VAT, we need to make sure that we include them. So let's just quickly go through this again, because I'm going to need the totals for this, because today I must also show you how to transfer to the ledger. So I know I've done this, but we can quickly go through this. Please, if you don't understand, you need to make sure that you tell me. Okay, so firstly, remember I said there are most important things that you need to do. Firstly, you must know the fact that all amounts are including VAT where applicable. And we also said we must make sure that we know that we're using perpetual, and this makes the difference. Can you see now? So this makes the difference at the end of the day. We need to make sure that we know how to calculate the markup. We only use this markup when we calculate cost of sales or when we calculate sales. It depends which one are they asking us to calculate. Okay. Remember, by using perpetual, it means you must show both sales and cost of sales. That's why they give you columns for sales and cost of sales. Can you see now? So immediately, if let's say I'm writing the test, so I will immediately go and say, okay, because I've got 50% on cost, so I don't have to waste time. Remember, you can go and analyze. So you can quickly go and say, okay, let me analyze my cost price. Remember, we said it's going to be 100. That's how we did it. And we say markup to 50. I'm just going to say selling price is going to be what? 150. Because the markup is on cost. Can you see now? So this will help you a lot, because next time the markup can be on selling price. So the markup is on cost. That's why I'm going to analyze like this. So let's make sure that we remember how to do it. Okay. So is everyone following so far, guys? Let me see. Yes, yes, if you understand. Before I go and calculate. Thank you so much, Gareth. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Now, so this I'm gonna record. Thank you, Letabo. So I'm gonna record. If you don't understand, you stop me. Remember, I'm just rewriting what we've done in class. We've done this in class. So if I remember very well, yesterday in class, not yesterday, maybe a day before yesterday, doesn't matter. So we had, correct me if I'm wrong, we had the first. Remember, we wrote the first under this one. And then I said here, you can write cash sales, or you can write the name of the person if you know them, but I prefer writing cash sales because in future they don't give you this. Normally they don't give you the name of the person to whom you sold. I'm talking about the first one. And we said because this amount is including VAT. Remember, we said all amounts including VAT were applicable. It means 8,000 is including VAT. I must put 8,000 here. That's what we did. Yeah, this is what we did the other day. So because the amount is including VAT. So I said you must wait. Don't have to transfer to the bank. And then after, you remember, we said you sold goods. So if you sold goods, it means you made sales. So we said now we have to calculate a VAT and the sales. So what we did, we said, okay, for VAT, we had to take, let me write something here. For VAT, we said, because the amount is including VAT, we said 15 over 105, and we multiplied it by 8,000. Remember, this is what we did. And then how much did you get? Use the calculator quickly. This is what we did. Show me how did you do that? 15 over 105. Remember, we did this yesterday. I'm just revising. Thank you, Letabo, for that. And this is what we did. So if you have got a question, you will ask. And then this is how we calculate it. Then this is remember, this is what we did. And then now we had to calculate cost of sales. Remember the cost of sales, how we had to calculate it? So because the markup is on costs, and we're looking for the cost, remember, you are looking for the cost, and the markup is 50% on cost. You must know how to use that. So the calculation was as follows. If I remember very well, we had to take, let's see, May I ask a question if you don't understand? So this is what we did. And then we had to ask ourselves if we could transfer to the bank, because this was the only transaction I remember I said you need to underline to show that you are ready to transfer to the bank. So this is what we did yesterday, the other day. You may ask a question if you are lost. That's how we did the first one. Okay. The second one, similar. But when we checked the second one, they said, yes, we sold for cash. That's why it came here. And then, but they gave us, can you see now, they gave us the cost price. We had to be very careful, because if you're not careful, so if they gave us the cost price, and the cost price is how much? It's 3,000. It means this amount will go to the cost price. So I'm going to put cost price here for 3,000. Can you see, you need to be careful of what they gave you. And after doing this, is then that we need to calculate what? The sales. Remember, the other one, we had to start calculating the sales first to find the cost of sales. Now they gave us the cost of sales. We have to find the sales. So how can we do that? We say 3,000. We got 4.5 here. And remember, how do you get this 4.5? Let's ask a question. If you're lost, this is what we did. So we said 3,000 times 150 divided by 100. Okay. And then this, yes. Thank you so much, Gareth, for that. So that's what we did. And then thereafter, now we have got sales. Remember, you can only calculate output VAT from the sales. Now you must use this sales and calculate output VAT. Okay? Who can tell me how will I calculate VAT on the 4.5? I remember the other day we got 450. Okay, so I hope you remember how to get this 450. How did you get this 450? Now you say 450 plus 500 plus 4,500. We got 4,950. Am I incorrect here? Is it 675? Laken, let me double check here. 4.5 times 15 over 100. Ah, you're correct. Sorry about that. It's 675. Ne? So this one is going to be 675. Thank you for that. Yeah, we got 675 the other day. Okay. And now you say 675 plus 4.5. 5175. That's what we did. Okay. So, and then because we have to make sure that we continue now. Now we have to check. Remember, now I cannot transfer to the bank because remember, we had the other, can you see these two transactions took place on the same day? Can you see now? So I can't transfer this one to the bank. So I must wait for the other one. Remember the other one? The other one we had to have Donald. This 1,000 is including VAT. I must come here and put it here. Okay, so this 1,000 is including VAT, and remember this 1,000 is because of what? Of rent. So this is rent received or rent income. So if you can check here, I don't have the column for rent. And remember I said the minute you find yourself not having the column, what must you do? You must use the sundries. So I'm going to come to the sundries here under details, and I'm going to write rent received or rent income. It's up to you. You can call it rent received or rent income. But remember, I told you, everything that you record here must exclude VAT. So it's better for you to calculate VAT first. So you can calculate VAT on 1,000. Can you see now? So if you calculate VAT on this 1,000, please, how much you get? Yes, Anthony, I'm recording it. So you can access it thereafter. I did record. I'm currently recording this. Please calculate VAT on 1,000 for me. Thank you so much, Laken. I'm going to have VAT of 130.43. Okay. And now after finding this VAT, it's easier for me to find the rent income. So the difference between 1,000 and 130.43, how much you get? Thank you so much, Gareth. You are correct. That is how we record it. Can you see now? So we don't have to remember here, from my past experience, most students make mistakes. Ne? What they normally do, they calculate cost of sales for every. No. You don't have to calculate cost of sales for everything. You only calculate cost of sales because you've got sales. Can you see now? So because I've got sales, I must calculate cost of sales. So this one, I just have to take out VAT, and remember, this amount here is excluding VAT. These amounts are excluding VAT. Can you see now? So you only include VAT when you transfer to the analysis and the bank. So you need to get. So now, because I've got the transition that I wanted, so now I can go and underline. Can you see now? Now I underline and transfer to the bank. So how much must I transfer to the bank? As you can see here, we have got 5175 plus 1,000, of which is how much? It's going to be 6175. Okay, this is very much important. So if you transfer them one by one and they took place on the same day, you will lose marks because I want to see 6175 because these two transactions took place on the same day. That's why I have to add them together in order for us to be able to transfer. And please, you may ask a question. I can see your hand is up. So you can ask a question. And is everyone following? Can I see you? Yes, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
Before I continue, I want to see those yeses. And I want to see 21 yeses. Thank you, Gareth. Still waiting for the other 20 yeses. Thank you, Ande. Kanya, thank you, Goodness. Thank you, Laken. Thank you, Letabo. Thank you, Jason. I'm still waiting for others. Clotho, thank you so much. I know this is a challenge with the network, guys. Let's bear with each other because, you know, we need to accommodate everyone. That's why I'm trying to wait a bit for others to respond because others have got a challenge with the network. Clotho, thank you so much. Buntle, what do you think? Fortunate, Gabby, thank you so much, Fortunate. Hannah, what do you think? Ellen, thank you, Jed. Thank you so much. Litlogonolo, what do you think? Marcelo, Reese, Tyrese, want to hear from you. Do you think you're following? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Buntle. Thank you, everyone. Yes, so as long as you're okay, guys. So what I want you to help me with now, we need to, sorry, Gaby, I understand. Sorry about that. So I'll record this one so that you can be able to check it thereafter. I do understand, Gaby, for that. I apologize for this. You know, network is a challenge. It's a challenge. Now, what I want you to do, guys, help me now. We need to find the total. We need to add all the columns except analysis of receipts. I repeat, we do not add analysis of receipts. Do not at all. I can penalize you sometimes. So here, please do not add. I'm just going to put something like this. Do not add. We only add other columns except analysis of receipts. So please help me with the other columns, and I want the totals for now. Let's add them because I will need this total at a later stage. So I know this total, guys. Don't bother to give me the total for this one. This one, I know. The total here is 869. I did use my calculator, 0.57. Please help me with the other columns. And the total for this one is going to be, please help me, 14,000, if I'm not mistaken. 14,175. Please help me with the other columns. VAT, please help me with the VAT and the other columns. So I'm going to wait for you. You must help me here. These are just the total. Let me just write here, but you don't have to write totals, but they are totals. These are just totals. That's the totals. And which one is this? You said 1848. I guess it is our VAT because you didn't specify which one is that under. So I guess because I can see there's a 1 there. 1848.91. I guess it's VAT. Thank you so much for that. And please help other. Okay, this one I think the cost of sales. Sales is okay. Thank you so much for that. You said sales. Guys, you must also do this in the exam. Thank you so much for that. You must add them. Even though they are wrong, we mark those wrong figures. I'm telling you. Method marking. Let's do the cost of sales. Thank you so much, Laken, for that. I'm going to put 7637.68. So you must always make sure that you put the totals there. Make sure at all times. Make sure that you have the total. Please make sure that you've got all this information. I think even from your side you are recording because you need to make sure that you understand this one. So please make sure that, because I'm going to use this thereafter. Okay, I'm going to use this information thereafter. Now, after doing this, guys, you're not compelled by law to do this, but after doing this, because I'm going to show you the ledger thereafter, please make sure that at the bottom you write something. You either write debit or credit. So who can tell me which account is the main column here? From these columns that you see, which column do you think is the main column for all the amounts? Thank you, Goodness. You are correct. So bank is the main. I'm going to write main here. And then I agree with you, Laken. You said I must debit. Yes, because, you know, bank increase on the debit side. So here I'm going to write, you see, this thing's going to be very useful by the time when we transfer to the ledger. Remember, ledger is part of the test number 2. So I'm going to put debit. Who can tell me, what must I put under debtors? What must I put under output? What must I put under sales? Remember, I gave you the technique. What must I put under amount? Will I still put debit or credit? I don't know. Who can tell me? What must I put under the other columns up to the amount column here? Please help me. Remember, we're practicing for the test. Perfect, Laken, you are correct. Credit. I'm talking about all the other columns. Yes, I agree with you. I'm going to write credit. What about the other columns? Tell me what to write. Please help Laken, please. I put credit there. Perfect. Thank you so much, Laken, once again. I'm going to put credit here. And then what about the other columns? Remember, even the debtors control, I want you to put something, because next time we can have something under debtors control. So what else? Perfect. Thank you so much, Laken, for that. Please, you must help Laken. Oh, come on. Otherwise, I'll detain you guys. Credit. What about debtors control column? Perfect, Laken. You are correct. I will give you an award. Don't worry, one day. What about the cost of sales? What must I write? Cost of sales, please. Think about account equation. Perfect. You are correct, Laken. Thank you so much. So you must do this. This will help you a lot. Okay, this will help you a lot thereafter. So you must make sure that you always do this. You will see when I transfer to the ledger, I'm going to ask you for this kind of information. Okay. I hope everyone is following. Any questions so far? Ask a question, Andy, please.
Sir, can you hear me?
If it works, I'm not sure whether the audio is working, but you can type.
Can you hear me, sir? Hello, sir?
Okay, let's continue. Let's continue to the next one. So this is the first one that we did. I thought Andy had a question, but yeah, I can't hear you. If you are trying to use the audio, let me see. Have you been trying to use the audio, Andy? Please just try again. Try again, please. Try again. I think I can hear you. Just try again, Andy, because you know my audio was misbehaving here. Oh, sorry, man. So, but yeah, write it down, please. I will give you time to write it down. Okay, and please just write it down so that I can explain to you. Okay, let's move to the next one. I'm gonna show you the name. Remember, this was the cash book receipts. So you must know that you only record the inflow of cash here. Okay, it's because remember what you transfer to the analysis of receipts will end up going to the bank. Can you see now? So that's why they say it's just according to accounting laws. Can you see now? So you don't have to add it. But I don't think that if you add it, I'm not going to penalize you, but you don't have to add it because you'll never know. What if they moderate and they change? So it's just a rule in accounting, because if you can add the total for analysis and the total for bank, they are the same. Can you see now? If you add that analysis, you get the same amount as bank. That is just a rule. So the analysis is just to help you to transfer to the bank. It's not an account. Because if you can add it, you will end up opening an account called analysis. There's no account called analysis of receipts. That's why you don't have to add it. They want to avoid that. But that 5,000 that you're talking about, and is part of that 6,000. It's not missing, I'm telling you, just check. It's just that you don't have to transfer them one by one because they took place on the same day. But the total amount of the bank is the same as the total amount of what? Of analysis. If you can check that. It's not like it's missing, it is part of 6175. Yes, you are and it's like that. Can you see? So that analysis of receipts is just helping you to transfer. Because if we didn't have it, you will see when we go to the next book, we don't have analysis. So everything will go to the bank one by one. But under receipts, we use analysis to add figures which took place on the same day. I hope that you are answered. And okay, then we move on to the next one, guys. But you can still take me back, okay? So the next one, perfect. Thank you, Andy. The next one is just the opposite of what we have done before. Okay. Again, don't worry. I said before, you must underline the most important things. Can you see now? You must underline the most important things. Just for our sake. Can you see now? Even though others won't be necessary, but this is just the information that we need to. So what I like about the cash book payments, we don't have the analysis. Can you see now? Here, if you can check on the first, I'm just going to start by recording, guys. So if you don't understand, let me know so that I can explain to you. So obviously, I don't have document numbers. If you've got a document number, I will put it under document number. But the first stage is the first. Okay. We paid 9,000 to S properties. So under the details, we write S properties. Okay, you see now? And then who can tell me which one is the main account here? Which column is the main account? And then, thank you so much for that. Thank you, Claude. So thank you, Asavela, for that. Tyrese, thank you for that. Perfect. Remember, the main account must always include VAT. Write it down from your side there. Write it down from your side. So this will always include VAT. Please use this technique when you are writing exam. I wish I can write for you, but I can't write for you. I can only mark. Can you see now? So this must always include VAT. So make sure that you know how to do that. So write it down on from your side. Include VAT. So meaning the other things won't include VAT. Can you see now? Please, let me give it to you. I want you to tell me, as you can see, we paid 9,000 excluding VAT for rent. So I want you to tell me under which columns are we going to record and which amounts are we going to record. I give you 1 minute for this one. You're going to write on the chat and tell me this is the amount that I must record under this column. This is the amount that I must record under this column before we can discuss. Okay. So I'm going to give you 1 minute and then I'm going to discuss with you thereafter. Okay, thank you so much. And they said 10,350, and then Laken said sundries rent 9,000. Thank you so much. Input 1,350. Perfect. Guys, and thank you so much for that. So I'm gonna start there. I'm gonna start with what I have. Can you see? Let's start with what I have. I agree with you there when you said rent expense, because I don't have a column. You can say rent expense or rent paid, because I don't have a column for it, and that's why I use details. Remember the sundries. And why do I have to put? Yes, you are correct. There must be 9,000 under this for rent, because this is excluding VAT. Remember, if this 9,000 was including VAT, this 9,000 was supposed to be under the bank. Can you see now? And thereafter, you have to calculate VAT on the 9,000, and then I can see that they said the VAT is 1,350. Let's see, let me do my own calculation quickly. 9,000 times, yes, you are correct. The amount for VAT here is going to be 1,350. And now you just have to add the 2, and you get the bank there of 10,350. Perfect, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone understands. So if you don't understand, please make sure that you ask a question before I move on. Okay. Please, I give you another 1 minute. Do number 2 for me. Tell me where to record. Remember, you cannot just keep quiet if you don't understand. So please do number 2. I'm going to give you only 1 minute or half a minute for that. Number 2, paid 5,000 to Esimono, meaning it's me. You paid me for the payment on account. You are owing me. You paid me. Tell me what to do. Which columns? Right, which columns are we going to use here? Bank 5,000. Okay, I'm gonna put 5,000 for now. So much for that. And then let's wait for other things. Remember the other columns where we must record. You can choose any column that you want me to record in. Where else must I record? Perfect. Under creditors 5,000. Where else must I record? Thank you, Isabella, for that. Where else must I record, or have I finished? Remember, there is no VAT. Remember, I told you, when you pay an account, write it down. Remember, even under account equation, I told you guys, any payment on account, it doesn't matter who's paying who, do not calculate VAT, because VAT was calculated by the time when I sold to you or when you bought. So do not calculate VAT on the payment on account. Okay, so I can't record anything under VAT. There is no VAT because I'm paying, the account is being paid. Okay, thank you so much for that, Laken. But there's one column that, thank you so much for that, Gabby. I must have Esimono here. Thank you for that. So please write it down for future reference, okay? When you are paying a creditor an account, or a debtor is paying you, any payment on account, no VAT. Please write it down so that you cannot make a mistake in future, okay? I think you will remember, okay? Please try number 3 for me. Tell me what you think I need to do. I give you half a minute. On the 3rd. Remember, you can choose any column that you want me to start with. For 230. Klotso just said bank. I don't know, what do you mean by saying bank, Klotso? And then Andy said for 230. We paid for 230. Do you agree with them? But there's a discount. You must first give discount. You must take out discount first. So you bought for 4,230, but a trade discount of 10% was given. So please make sure that you take off that discount for me. No, that is the discount. You must take it out. You must take out the discount. So you didn't pay 4,230. You paid 4,230. Thank you so much for that. So I'm gonna say 3,8. Other columns, please. Thank you for that. Okay, and then any other columns which you need to do to record in? So, but the question is there any VAT applicable? Because if there is VAT applicable, we can't put trading stock S3807. So you must calculate VAT. Trading stock is VATable, and this 3807 is including VAT, remember. Because on top there, they told us all amounts are including VAT except otherwise indicated. So if they didn't tell us, we know that stock must include VAT. So you must take out VAT before we can find the trading stock. Thank you so much for that. And how much will be the trading stock? Thank you so much, guys. 3310. Please make sure that you know how to do this. So if you must ask a question, guys, if you are lost. The fourth, what do you think I must do? Thank you. Yes, thank you. No VAT on petty cash. Don't calculate VAT on cash. Okay, there's no VAT here. Let's find the totals. Please help me with the other totals there. Here I've got 5,000. Here I've got, please help me with the other columns. 33310.43. For the 11,000. I think I understand. Help me with the other columns. Which column under? I guess it's 21. Okay. Then 21, 157. Thank you so much for that. Input bets. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Who can tell me under the main column, under the bank here, which one must I write? Must I write debit or credit? Just tell me what to write under the columns. If you can know the main one, the other accounts will be obvious. I just want to know what must I write under the main column. Thank you. That's all for that. And the rest will be thank you so much. Okay, so that is what we need so far. So please make sure that you ask a question, because if you don't ask a question, it's going to trick you at a later stage. Need a break? Let me know if you need a break. I'll give you a break now. You take a break, guys. Talk to me. Okay, let's do number 1. Thank you, Gaby. I'll continue now. Let's do the next one. The next one is the petty case journal. The petty case journal, if you can see here again, same information we need to analyze. The amounts are including VAT. And then we need to do the perpetual inventory system. And then again, this is very much important. So again, as you can see here, guys, it is all about, it's like similar. So who can tell me which column? I think I made a mistake here. This column must be, it must not be bank. I'm going to change it manually here. So this is petty cash. Okay, this column is petty cash. Now it's not bank. When I do this, so this is our main column. It is important to know the main column, because the main column is where we record everything. I think you know by now. So I'm going to write main here. Okay. So now let's record again on the first. Now, what I like about petty cash, they're not very strict when it comes to petty cash. Okay, on the first, so here we bought from Woolworths. So what do we normally do with the petty cash? What did we buy here? We bought staff refreshment. So under petty cash, we are allowed to call it staff refreshment like that. Okay, we get under petty cash, you just have to write whatever you bought And then if you can check here, remember the main account will always include VAT. So what must you do? You ask yourself, is 3,000 including VAT? Yes. So it's 300. So I'm going to put 300 under this. But you must ask yourself, is staff refreshment VATable? So remember from our past experience, I told you anything to do with the staff, entertainment of the staff is not, you cannot claim VAT. Yes, you did pay VAT on your board, but unfortunately you cannot claim VAT. So you cannot calculate VAT because the minute you calculate VAT, it means you are going to claim VAT. So what you're going to do, we're just going to have what? 300. Get it now? Yes, this 300 is including VAT, but you are not allowed to claim it back. So do not calculate VAT on the staff refreshments. Okay, so if you've got any questions, please ask. Please, I'm giving you 1 minute to tell me how to record the second. Tell me about the columns which I need to use and the amount. Yes, I agree. Okay, let's start with details, please. What will be the details? Let's start so that we cannot forget. Because if we skip columns, we'll end up forgetting. But I'm gonna write 100 for now. I agree with you. Pens and pencils. Thank you so much for that. Input. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate Asavella. Thank you. Remember I said under the petty cash, they want you to write these things. Don't write the name. But if you write the name like Fortunate said, CNA, I'll give you a mark for that. But they prefer for you to be very specific, okay, for petty cash. And how much, where will I record these pencils, pen and pencils, what do we call them? They are called stationery. So we don't have stationery column. What will I record? Where will I record the stationery? Thank you so much for that, Letabo and Debbie. So I'm going to come here and write stationery. Can you see the difference now? Yes, under details, remember the first column there. I'm going to go back and explain stationery. Can you see the first column? No. So please edit for me. Maybe I forgot it. I forgot it. Just edit, like just edit on the right so that so that you can know what I mean. So about that. So I know. Yeah, I remember the initial one. You don't have the input bit, but just squeeze it somewhere. Maybe somewhere here at the end or somewhere at the beginning there. Sorry about that, Laken. And then how much is the amount for stationery? Okay, any question? Remember these amounts, remember I said you only include VAT in the main column, guys. Please write it down once again. VAT is only included in the main column. All the other columns, you must make sure that VAT is not included. So for the stationery, you cannot put 100 because 100 has got VAT in it, okay? Please do not forget. So if you say 100 minus 13, you get 86 there. Can you see? That's what I did. Okay, let's do the, tell me about the fourth one, the third one. How will I record? Thank you so much for that. Perfect, Laken. I appreciate that. And where else must we record? 250. Thank you so much for that, Asavela. 250. And then where else? Sundry, 250. Perfect. Asavela, don't we have to calculate VAT? Thank you so much for that. I hope everyone understands why are we not calculating VAT. Remember, perfect, 100% Asavela. It is zero rated, so you don't have to calculate VAT. If you calculate VAT, you lose marks. Okay? Please give me the totals for this. I know there's a 300. There is a 13.04. And please help me with the others. This one is going to be 400, 650. And then what about the sundries? It's going to be 250 to 300 and 336. Please correct me if I'm wrong. 336.96. Just double check for me, auditors. I think I'm correct. Perfect. Thank you so much. Who can tell me what must I write under the main account? Must I write a debit or a credit? You are paying, you paid this amount out of petty cash. So what happens to the petty cash? Increase or decrease under which side? Any question? Any questions, guys? Do you still need a break or what? Let me know if you change your mind. Okay, no problem, guys. I'm just gonna show you some, because we need this. I don't know if I can reserve this for the, but no, I think. Okay, thank you. We can carry on, no problem. So far, we know how to track. Remember, you're gonna be assessed on this, the petty cash, the cash book payments, the cash book receipts. You must know how to record. And I think at the moment, you know where you still struggle. But what I want you to know is the fact that you need to make sure that you know transfer to the ledger. So I'm just going to take some few questions on the ledger account using the same question. So let me upload that question so that you can see what I'm talking about here. So let me just put it quickly. Just want to load it so that you can see what I'm talking about. Just wait for a moment. Just hold, still loading, still loading, still loading. Just a little bit slow, don't worry. It's coming now, it's coming. I want to do something. Because I want to use the same information that we used, so that's why I have to upload this one. It'll take you some time. For time being, if you've got a question, you may ask. Now, okay, I'm here. Can you see this is what we just did? Let me see. I must start from the first one. Yes, so remember this is what I did. So I just made sure that whatever, this is what we've done. So can you see I did highlight the fact that you need to total, because they can ask you what we call the general ledger. I'm going to show you how to deal with the general ledger. Yeah. So a general ledger looks like this. Let me just draw it. I know we talked about this before. So a general ledger will look like this. See now? And then the general ledger will look like this. Okay, I think you know. So in the test, they can ask you to open any ledger that they want you to open. Okay. For example, let's say they want you to open a bank account. They will tell you to open bank account. So they're going to give you formats. Don't worry. So they will give you a bank account like this. They'll say open bank account. So a bank account looks like this. Okay. So remember, like we have talked before, this side of the bank is always debit, and this side is always credit. So you must not forget that. So that's why it's important for us to learn the basics. But what we need to know, remember, I told you that this will be very helpful at the beginning. Remember, I said you have to write debit, credit, debit, credit. So you don't have to write these things down. You can still, avoid writing those things down. But for me, I think as a beginner, I need to make sure that I put these things, because already I'm going to make sure that I go to the right side. So because I'm opening bank account, so I'm only going to focus on the column that is written bank account. So wherever I see bank account, I'm going to record. Can you see now? So now I'm going to say, okay, let me see. Here is my bank column. But at the bottom, I wrote debit. Even if you didn't write debit under the bottom, under the bank here, but you know that if you receive cash, so bank increase on the debit side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the debit side of the bank. So I know for sure that I'm going to record on the debit side because I wrote debit here. But remember, I cannot just record. I need to have more information. So it means what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, okay, this is the total receipts. You're right, I'm going to explain that. So I'm just going to abbreviate, and this comes from the CBR, and the amount is 1,4. You see, how do I record it? So I need to say total receipts. Please, I abbreviated before because of space. Why do I say total receipts? Remember, everything that you recorded here, all the amounts you see here, the sales, the output VAT, the debtors, everything is total, it's transferred to the bank. So bank has got all the receipts. That's why we write total receipts. You need to be careful here. And you must also tell me, they will give you a column called portfolio. Don't worry, I'm still going to take this kind of questions in class. So you must also tell me that this total was taken from the CBR. Remember CBR, as you can see here, CBR here. Okay? So you took it from the CBR. CBR stands for the cash book receipt. So you need to make sure that you do it like this. You tell me that this is the total of all the receipts, and you took it from the CBR, and the total amount is 14175. Can you see now? So please tell me if you understand me at the moment. Just say yes, 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 if you understand me. Elaine said, where can I find the recordings? These recordings can be found under recordings under collaborate. So if you go under Blackboard collaborate, you will see you have to click somewhere. You can see there are about 3 lines. You click them there, you will see recordings, and you can find recordings under Blackboard collaborate. So please, I want you to know how to do that. So can you see, this is how to deal with the bank. You always have total receipts. So if this was a cash book payment, you will have the total payments. But I'm going to show you the payments thereafter. Okay? Now, what if, let's say, for example, they ask you for VAT? I'm going to open another account. I'm going to erase the whole thing. What if they ask you for VAT? I'm going to open it again like this. I'm going to have an account like this. Remember, they will give you this account. For us, we're just learning for now, but we need to know how to do that. So I'm going to have output VAT. What I like about this, they will give you this formats in class, so you don't have to worry. And still remember, this side will always be debit, and the other side will always be credit. Okay, now, the question is, how are we going to record under VAT? Same procedure. But remember, VAT is not the main column. The main column here is bank, so you need to be careful. So when it comes to VAT, the same procedure. You go and check what you wrote under VAT. You wrote credit. It means I must come and record on the credit side. Can you see these things are helping me a lot? But how will I record? So when you record all the other accounts, let's say, for example, from debtors control up to sundry accounts, what you need to write here as contra, we call it contra. You will have to record what we call, you just have to write bank, and then you write CBR, and you just have to tell me that how much is the output VAT is 1848.91. Can you see how does this differ? So when you're opening debtors control, you're opening output VAT, you're opening sales, you're opening any other account under sundry account, the contra account or the details for that account will always be the main account. So meaning the main account will always be the contra for the other accounts. That's why here I wrote bank, because bank is the main account. Is everyone following? Let me see. Yes, 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 no. Perfect. Can you see now? So you need to be careful. It's very easy here. Perfect. I agree with you. You understand. I can see you understand. So now I wrote bank because bank is the main account. Okay? Now, let me say, for example, let me not erase the whole thing. Let me say here again, I want you to open an account by the name of sales. Please, who can tell me? Oh, sorry, I erased this one. Sorry. Technology is dealing with me. So let me just open now. Let's say I need, please tell me, I'm going to open sales. Tell me how will I record sales. Tell me under which side and how. Under sales, how will I record? Tell me please on the chat. Under which side of the sales and how will I record there? I'm gonna wait for you. Don't worry, I'm gonna release you in a few minutes, so I'm just gonna give you some basics for now. On the credit side, you say bank. I agree with you, Laken. Very much important. Thank you so much. Excellent. I'm going to say bank, and I'm going to say CBR, and then I'm going to say 11456.52. Perfect. Are we together? Just like that. What if I say, please open rent income for me? How will I open the rent income? Again, please help me. Let's say I need rent income. Let me draw like this. Please tell me, how will I record under rent income? I want you to open rent income for me. Under which side and how? Perfect, perfect, Gabby. You are correct. I'm going to say bank, and I'm going to say CBR, and I'm going to say 865.96. Thank you so much. You are on fire. Can I see, guys? Very easy. And they can ask you this in the exam. Okay. So can you see, you only say bank up to the sundry. Remember, cost of sales is different. I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, I'm going to show you the next one. If you've got any question, ask. Otherwise, I'm going to show you the cost of sales. Because the cost of sales is a special case. Let's say now they want you to open the cost of sales. Please tell me under which side and how. Try it first. But just to give you a hint, I told you one day, I say cost of sales always go with a certain account. So bear in mind, cost of sales is a special case. It always goes with a certain account. So tell me under which side and how will I record it? Cost of sales, under which side and how will I record it? Please, I'm waiting. Who agrees with Gabby? Gabby said, okay. Remember, guys, when we did our count equation, when we were selling stock, cost of sales was always with a certain account. So I agree with the sides. I agree with you. You are correct with the side, but with the contra, it is incorrect. So remember, I told you that the cost of sales will always go with the inventory. That's why the cost of sales is not even put with other accounts there. Can you see now? Remember, cost of sales already is part of the sales there. So when you see cost of sales, the contra for cost of sales will always be the trading inventory. And I told you before under account equation. Please make sure that you remember this. This is a very much important. If you put bank, you are incorrect. Are you all following? Will you remember this in the future? So this is very special case. So when you see cost of sales, just know that the details or the contract for cost of sales will always be trading inventory. In a way, this is like account equation in a different way. Just that here we don't show plus, minus, plus, minus. If you are all following, let me see, yes, 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 yes. I want to see 23 yeses. 23, otherwise I'm going to call you a name. You're going to be famous. Please. Yes, thank you, Laken. Thank you, Tyrese Ongama, thank you so much. Goodness, thank you. Atlaham, thank you. Tan, thank you. Fortunate, thank you. Klotso, thank you. Tan, Atlaham. Dot, thank you. Litabo, thank you. Enrica, what do you think? Enrica, please don't destroy the keyboard. Don't destroy the keyboard, Enrica. Or someone, I don't know what this is. Yes. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Thank you, Jet. Thank you so much. But remember, guys, I'm still gonna bring another question in class so that I can see if you understand or not, okay? Because I know the challenge with the network, but we cannot just wait for the face-to-face, guys, because we're wasting our own time here. That's why I'm gonna make sure that I show you how to do this. But I think for today, I've shown you the basics. I think we did enough for today. What do you think? Did we do enough? Do you think it's enough for today? Let me see on the chat. Thank you so much, Laken. Thank you so much, Enrico. Thank you, Gabby. I appreciate, guys. But don't worry, guys. I know I'm going to put it on the board for you. I'm going to bring, thank you, goodness, Lotso, everyone. So I'm going to put it on the board for us to do it again. This is just a warm-up. Thank you, Adahang. Goodness, thank you. Otherwise, I'll see you when I see you. I think I'm going to see you next week. Thank you very much, guys, for waking up in the morning just for me. I feel most honored and I feel special. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.